morning, Sonder fam. Happy Saturday morning from wherever you're tuning in. I know we always have people on both coasts. So those folks on the West Coast, it's 7 a.m., it's 8 a.m. where I am here in Denver, Colorado. And then I know our my fabulous co-host with me today, Jen Ogilvy. She's on Central Time, so it's 9 o'clock for her. And then our East Coast friends, it's already 10 o'clock in the morning for them, right? So, and then if you're international, I don't know what time it is for you there, but it's morning for us. So we're gonna say good morning and glad that you are here with us this morning. And we are going to work on setting up our second week of September. Believe it or not, we are now past that first week. We've finished our 4-day work week for those of us who were off on Labor Day last week. I always think, while I love a long weekend, I feel like a 4-day work week is almost worse than a regular work week because I feel like I have to do 5 days worth of work in 4 days, and it just makes things a little like, yeah, exactly, Nicole. 4-day work weeks are harder. Like, it seems like it would be easier, but it's not. But I'm not going to complain about having last Monday off. So life can just, we just have to figure out how to have our relationship with time here, right? So just a few little housekeeping tips. Make sure you set that chat to everyone. The Zoom has an obnoxious tendency, especially if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, to flip back to host and panelist. And then when it does that, the only people that see what you write are myself and Jen O, who is there helping me in the chat, keeping an eye on any questions, anything you all need. So make sure that you, again, like I said, flip that everyone to or make sure that that blue box says everyone when you type in the chat. The other thing, we have some community guidelines to make sure this is a safe and supportive space for everyone. So we just ask that you're kind and courteous to yourself and others. No promotions or spam. We respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. We limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. Of course, it's fine to ask people like what kind of pens they use that don't bleed through and where they got their stickers. But the best place to ask that, honestly, is in the Sonder Club app, because then folks can give you links for those kinds of things. And then any of those customer care inquiries go to our headquarters team. So things like shipping addresses, if your journal came all garbled up, the US Postal Service put it through the ringer, you need a replacement. If you need to change your billing address, those kinds of things, those all go to hello@silkandsonder.com. Jen and I don't have access to your account, so we can't fix anything for you or look anything up or anything like that. Just keep in mind they are a Monday through Friday group, so they might be a little delayed if you email them over the weekend, but they will get back to you. And then ultimately, remember that these Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And we have such a fabulous, wonderful community here. Everyone is so supportive and creative and fun, but you ultimately are responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if there's anything that you're working on or that we're working on that is not quite your jam, you don't want to work on that section, feel free to switch to a different section. If the music I'm playing isn't your jam, you can put that on mute. If my voice isn't your jam, you can put me on mute. We have closed captioning enabled, so you can keep up. And oh, thank you. Nicole says I'm always her jam. But this is your time. This is your hour, right? So there's no way that you can do this wrong. You do what you need to do for you. And we are just here to help kind of guide you along and provide some tools and some ideas. We're going to give you some ideas for different ways to set things up, especially if there's anybody new. And is there anyone new to Silk and Sonder? You just got your first journal. You haven't joined a social yet. You can just kind of put me in the chat or I'm new, just so we can see if there's any new folks here. I know sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. Is it Corcynthia is new? Welcome. Or yeah, or like Jen says, Heather says she's new. So we've got some new folks, or if anyone's returning after having been away. Shayla says been on a super long hiatus. Welcome back. I know sometimes this journal can seem a little overwhelming when you first get it. I know when I first got it like 5 years ago, I thought, oh my goodness, there's like so much and I don't know what to do with these sections. So that really is what these socials are, is here to give you an idea of how to fill out some of these things. You don't have to do what we are suggesting. You can always do what you want. And the great thing is, in the chat, folks have such fabulous ideas. We have lots of returning folks that have been with us, Sonder fam, that have been with us for years and have so many fabulous ideas. Also, keep in mind, we do record these and we post them on YouTube, but the chat is not posted. The chat isn't saved. So, and sometimes I think that's kind of where the magic happens, right? So just know that you might want to take some screenshots, and either like if you're on your computer and do this, use the snipping tool, or if you've got your phone, you can take like a little picture of that and to kind of help as you're working on it. Some people love to work in their journal and they kind of ignore the chat because that can get to rolling kind of fast because we usually have upwards of 100 people here. Some people, they are here for the chat and they take notes and then they work on their journal later. So again, totally up to you, what works for you. We have the setup this morning. We have a weekly setup tomorrow in the afternoon / evening, depending on where you are. And then we do one Monday morning, and you're welcome to come to as many of those as you would like, however long it takes for you to set up your journal or get those ideas, just to kind of see how you want to show up for the week, right? What you want to get done for the week. So this month's theme, hopefully you have seen and have started to explore and dig into this idea of bravery. Oh, and thank you, Jen, for reminding me, posted in the chat. If you are in Tennessee, near Hendersonville, Bailey, our fabulous facilitator, is going to host her first in-person event. Jennifer and I have both hosted one. I did one here in Aurora, and Jen did one there in Texas. But she put the information in there about the event with Bailey on November 1st from 11 to 12. She's got the address in there, and there's a nice little link in there that you can use to register to let her know who's going to be there. So hopefully if you're in that area, I wish I was closer. I would definitely be there too. And then if you have any questions, Bailey's email address is there in chat, so you can check with her. And that will be a new theme for November, and I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't, I don't want to spoil the next month's theme, but it will be a good one too. But this month we are still talking about bravery. So maybe bravery will be you signing up to go to this social where you may not know anybody in real life and being brave and showing up. So I love the idea that only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light, a good Brene Brown quote. And then being brave doesn't mean being fearless. It means taking action despite the fear. And I think that's something that's so important. Bravery doesn't mean that you're not afraid. Bravery means usually that you are afraid, but you're pushing through that fear. You're pushing through to get things done, and to do whatever it is that you're trying to do that maybe push you out of that comfort zone a little bit. So I also, excuse me, came across this little blurb in Instagram that talked about working out will make you feel weak when it's actually making you stronger. Learning new things will make you feel dumb when it's actually making you smarter. Investing in yourself will make you feel broke when it's actually making you rich. And facing your fears will make you feel terrified when it's actually making you braver. Never hold yourself back. Strive to be better today than you were. Strive to be better tomorrow than you were today, and thank yourself later. And I thought this was like such a good, yes, Nicole, I'll post it in Sonder Club. I thought this was such a good reminder to really kind of think about, this idea of sometimes we do things and it makes us feel one way, but it's really doing something else, right? Working out makes us feel like we're weak, but it's making us stronger. Those new things this makes me feel really dumb. So this is a great idea. When I think of bravery, this is kind of what I think is really understanding that sometimes doing the thing is the scary thing. It's the hard thing. It doesn't feel like that it's good, but it actually is. It is actually making you stronger, smarter, richer, braver, and better tomorrow than you are today. So just a little ideas there. So today we're going to do our bravery mind map, and we do these mind maps to help us dig into the theme for the month. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to do our rosebud thorn activity, and then we're going to do our weekly setup pages. So if you've been with me before, I always use these two little cartoons to remind us of a couple things. The one with the little pile of kittens says there's room for you here just as you are. So the good, the bad, the whatever's going on in your your life, share the successes, and we'll celebrate, share the downs and the bummers and the frustrating things, and we will empathize with you, maybe offer some suggestions, offer that support. And then the way you feel matters, and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. So no one can tell you, oh, you shouldn't be mad about this, or you should be happy about this, right? That's, our emotions are what they are, our feelings are what they are, and we're here for all the feels when you come and join us here for these socials. So this is going to be week 2 of our mind map. So if you weren't with us for week 1, that's okay. I'll show you what the prompt was. And you can always go back and watch one of the recordings, the beginning part of the recordings from last week, so you can see that. So this is in a blank page in your journal, or maybe you use the weekly scratch pad. A lot of folks like to use that back page of the journal, so it's easy to flip to. Jen's putting in some ideas in chat for other places you can do this. And every week this month, we're going to explore different aspects of bravery through our writing. So Meha's letter, if you had a chance to read that, talks about how bravery isn't always a loud roar. Sometimes it's a quiet whisper, an inner compass guiding us through life's challenges. It's the courage to be vulnerable, to embrace the unknown, and to trust our own strength. So these prompts that we work on are designed to help you listen to your inner voice, unlock hidden truths, and cultivate a garden of courage within your heart. So we're going to go into week 2. And the question for week 2 is, what lies beyond the locked door of your heart, waiting for you to unlock it? So these questions sometimes are a little deep, right? And we don't have a ton of time to work on them here. So just know we're going to give you a little bit of time here, and I'm going to give you a little bit more of the prompt here in just a second. But if you can't quite get it done all at once, this is a good one to work on all week long, to really kind of think about all week long. So that what lies beyond the locked door of your heart, waiting for you to unlock it. So just think, yeah, and this is a good one to grab a screenshot of so that you can come back to it later. So in the deepest part of your heart, imagine there is a door, old and worn, sealed shut by fear. Behind this door is something powerful. Maybe it's a truth or a dream, a hidden strength that you've kept locked away. What has held the key to this door all this time? Is it doubt? Is it past pain or the fear of the unknown? Now picture yourself standing before the door, a key warm in your hand. Write about what would happen if you were to unlock it. What would emerge from behind the door? How does bravery step into the unknown, even when the key turns and the door creaks open? Right. So I've got that, like this image of the door, and I happen to find this beautiful little image here, right, with a bravery key unlocking our lock to success. I love the idea of this warm key, and I also like the fact that it's sparkly, to unlock our success, right? That enchanting bravery key. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm just going to let you take a look at that prompt, respond how you want. Maybe it's the kind of thing where it's going to take you a few minutes. You're just going to kind of sit and close your eyes and think about this. Maybe you're going to start to jot down just a few little bullet points, just a few little ideas, a few little thoughts. And then feel free to share in the chat what kinds of things that you're thinking about, and then we'll check back in and keep moving on. Okay, so I know that wasn't a lot of time for something that's quite so deep, but we do want to make sure that we get into our weekly setup. But I think this is a really good prompt to sit with for the week. Give yourself time. I know someone mentioned that they wanted to get deep into this, but they have some other public things that they have to do today. And so they didn't quite want to let themselves go deep into this before that. But make sure that you schedule some time later today, sometime this week, to really sit with this, right? Really, again, take a screenshot of this and really think about what this is and give yourself that time to write. And if writing isn't your favorite thing to do, or if you're like me, sometimes I feel like my thoughts come out faster than my hand can write them, maybe this is the kind of thing where you could dictate it. You could do a voice memo, move it into, and then move it in to transcribe it and work on it later. So again, this is a great prompt to really think about this idea, right? Think about your bravery key. Maybe you want to draw a little key for yourself. What does that look like? And draw, I can imagine, kind of drawing that door and kind of what is beyond that door. So, and I do think that writing about it, that pen to paper piece of really kind of writing this part out can be so helpful in really learning about ourselves, right? That's kind of what we're doing here in Silk and Sonder, is learning more about ourselves, how our past shapes ourselves, but then how we want to go into the future. So thank you all for spending that little bit of time digging into that, and hopefully you will be able to do that more throughout the week. So let's turn over to our rosebud thorn, which is on page 30 in our September journal. And we always like to do this at the end of the week to really kind of think about that week that we just had, help us remember the things that happened. If you're like me, rushing from week to week, moving on, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And not giving yourself that time to reflect. Can also make time seem like it goes really fast. So this is always a good time to give yourself just a few minutes to think about a few things. So we've got our thorn, which is something that's challenging or stressful, maybe something out of your control, something you could use some support with, um, something that's maybe a little irritating. And I always like to start with my thorn when I do the rosebud thorn so that I can end on something a little more positive. But my thorn this last week has been my husband's CPAP machine. He has sleep apnea, and he's had this machine for years, and there's just always something wrong with it. It makes noise, and sometimes we'll go for a good stretch where it's working really well, and he just has issues. And so some piece broke on it, and he's trying to get like a replacement, but it's taking forever because there's apparently a million different kinds of CPAP machines and a million different kinds of hoses, and keeps getting the wrong one. And so I have been sleeping in the guest room this week because he snores really loudly when he doesn't have his machine on. So I have not been getting great sleep, right? And it's definitely, I was telling Jen earlier, even when the machine's working pretty well, it's kind of like sleeping next to Darth Vader. It's kind of a loud, it's got that kind of loud whooshing noise. So, and I see some people also have that with their spouse, and I love my husband dearly, and I'm glad he's taking care of his health. But yes, had to. I've been in the guest room. But then a bud is something that is an emerging opportunity, something you're looking forward to, something that gives you that hope and motivation and inspiration right now. So I have a friend who's it's her birthday party tonight, and we're going to a karaoke place that actually has like the rooms where you can do karaoke. So it's not like it's a big open. We've done the karaoke like with the big group with a bunch of strangers, but this is nice because you get your own little room. So I think that will be that will be fun. So that's definitely my bud. And then my rose, your rose is a highlight, something you're grateful for, something that's positive, something that's exciting. So I actually this week trained, you've probably seen her in Sonder Club answering some of your questions, Maddie, or I think it's her full name in Sonder Club, Madison. She is going to start helping out stage managing some of these events. So you will see her here with Katie and I tomorrow to learn some of the stage manager tricks. So she'll be in the chat. She's going to learn about all the fun tech stuff. So that's kind of a fun rose to have somebody else bring somebody else here into the Sonder facilitation family. So I'll play just a little bit of music. I'll let you, and I know you're already doing it, sharing some of the your rose, your bud, your thorn in there. And yeah, and Maddie she also works in our headquarters. She's the one who does a lot of the sending out the emails. And she sets up all the stuff in the for these socials and Eventbrite and all those kinds of things. So she's gonna kind of get not in front of the camera per se, but she's going to get in front of the chat with us. So super exciting. So I'll play a little bit of music and then we'll check back in and keep moving on. All right. I know that was a short time again for you to share those rose buds and thorns. I saw someone is having had hip surgery, hip replacement surgery. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine that must be really tough to rehab from, Carolyn. So I hope you're doing better. Really getting the support that you need, but glad that hopefully that will be helpful in the long run, right? I know folks who have knee replacement. I had an aunt who has had both knees and then she just had a shoulder replacement, which I didn't even know they could do that. But those things are tough. Those are tough to recover from. So hopefully you're able to give yourself some time to heal from that and get stronger, right? And it's very brave to go through that process. And so really appreciating that and appreciating everyone kind of sharing some of the our rose, our bud, and our thorn. I think it's so important just to do that reflection and see that there are good things, there are thorny things, there are all of those, and that whole thing makes up the beautiful rose of life. So it's always good to spend just a few moments reflecting on that. So thank you for doing that with us. So let's dive into our weekly planner. We're going to be on page 32 and 33 for what is this, week 37 of the year. Believe it or not, we are just marching right through this year. So the first part that we're going to work on is how we want to feel. So how do we want to show up? To me, I think of this as how do I want to show up for the world, for my friends, for my coworkers, for anyone. And so really kind of thinking about those words. I gave a little list there, a to feel list. So things like radiant and independent, courageous, alive, confident, brave, obviously would be a good one to pop in there. Maybe it's just one word, maybe it's several words or phrases. I see folks popping in the chat already, their words: vibrant, freedom. Maybe it's a mantra or an affirmation that you really liked. Maybe you just want to use some stickers. I saw someone had the be brave, take risks sticker. I like that. We've got engaged and calm and flirtatious. Ooh, that's a fun one. I like that. Connected. What other ones do we have in there? So yeah, just kind of think about those feelings. And if you have a word of the year, like Stephanie is saying, I'm going back to my word of the year, which is courage. So that's good to give yourself that reminder of the word of the year. Empowered, accomplished. All of these are great words to really think about as as you go into the week. And then what I like to do then is to think about now those three major goals. And I think if you take your three major goals for the week and you think about what goals could I accomplish that would help me with that feeling, that can be very helpful. And Jennifer's popping in some synonyms for brave in there if you want if you want some tips there, excuse me, for that. And I had put in this little piece from Silk and Sonder's Instagram talking about the difference between being busy and being productive. And I like this idea of really thinking about, are we busy? Do we want to be busy, or do we want to be productive? So busy treats all tasks equally. Productive prioritizes those tasks based on impact and effort. So again, maybe there's a goal that can help prioritize that feeling. Busy multitasks, but productive focuses on one task at a time. Busy sacrifices quantity over quality, but productive focuses on quality over quantity. Busy does everything themselves. Productive delegates. Oh, good. Radhika is saying this list helped her. So that's great. Feeling stressed. The busy feels stressed and overwhelmed. Productive feels accomplished and fulfilled. So I think this is a really good way to think of it. And I know, Karen, a lot of us multitask. Research really shows over and over again that our brain can't really multitask. It task switches. And the cost of that sometimes is that we can't be as productive as we could be if we would just focus on the one task at hand, right? So really kind of think about what would it look like, and maybe experiment, right? This is always a good place to kind of maybe experiment with something. Experiment. What would it look like if you did focus on one task through to completion? So a couple ideas for the three major goals. Maybe you want to use your intentions page on page 9, or those monthly habit tracker on page 11. Set your goals through the lens of bravery. Maybe do some no goals, things you don't want to do. No alcohol, no doom scrolling, no more than a certain number of minutes on social media, no impulse spending, no takeout meals. Look at previous weeks or journals to see if there's any outstanding goals that you want to accomplish, or maybe have like a personal challenge goal for the week. Maybe it's a fitness challenge, or a cleaning or decluttering, self-care. Maybe as we transition into the Burr months, maybe you want to do like a soup challenge where you want to try some different soups, soup recipes to have. And then you can see lots of different examples of things that folks have done. Bingo boards, super popular. You can put some different things in there. You can also repurpose this if maybe you have monthly goals and you don't necessarily need a weekly goal. You could also have just one goal. You could focus on just one goal. You don't have to have 3. Or maybe you want to just think about maybe 3 new words if you're learning a new language, or you're doing one of those vocabulary builders. You could have 3 new words. Maybe it's movies or TV shows that you want to watch, a playlist for the week, some fun activities for yourself, some favorite quotes, that mini bingo board. Maybe you want to break it down into mind, body, spirit, or left brain, right brain, no brain idea. Yeah, I love the idea of soup. I'm like, it definitely has been chilly this week. So, well, chilly, it's been in the 70s, but it feels chilly when it has been in the 90s, right? It's all relative, all relative. So I will let you work on, you might still want to think about your feelings. You might want to work on those 3 goals, and then we'll come back and we'll tackle those to-dos and the habits and activities. All right. So hopefully you got some ideas for things you wanted to put there for those three major goals. Again, sometimes people just put stickers on that. Setting goals for the week isn't necessarily their thing. And so that's absolutely fine. So thank you all for sharing in the chat what kinds of things you would put down for those three goals for the week. And then we're going to move into those to-dos, right? These are those things that we need to get done. And this, I love this little picture of me on September 1st with the little kitty cat and the pumpkin and the fall leaves. I feel like I'm ready for fall, but then I also, last night I was going, it's so cold in here. This morning I was like, it's so cold in here. Even though it really was not that cold. But anyway, it's that transition time always takes a little bit of getting used to. So our to-dos obviously can be just a straight list of to-dos, things that you need to get done. Some people like to use what's called the Eisenhower matrix to help them prioritize their to-dos. So they'll start out with a big list of to-dos and then put them into the quadrants based on things that are important and urgent. So things they have to do, things that are important but not urgent. So they have to decide, maybe are they going to do it now? What is that going to look like? Maybe things that are not important but they're urgent. So it's kind of that idea of busy work. Maybe there's some things that you can delegate to others. And I know sometimes it's hard if you don't necessarily have another person to delegate to, but I know Katie, one of our other facilitators, will talk about how she will delegate the task of dinner to, a delivery service or having a takeout or one of those, a meal kit or something, so that she doesn't have to put the brain power into that, right? Or maybe it's not important and it's not urgent. So these are maybe things that we could delete, things that we could or maybe diminish or drop, right? Those kinds of things. And then we also are talking about this idea of a dread list. So maybe it's things that you dread, things that you don't want to do, things that you hate doing, like, oh, I always hate having to take out the trash or to change the cat box or those kinds of things. So you kind of have this list of things that then you could give yourself a little prize when you get them done, a little reward. I will tell you, I gave myself a little prize this week. I wanted to get to the gym 2 days after work. And so I really didn't want to. When 3:30 rolled around, I was like, okay, I really want to just go home. But I was like, no, if I go to the gym, I will get myself a nice unsweetened iced tea at McDonald's. And so, because there's a McDonald's right by my gym. So I drove to the gym and I changed clothes and I worked out and then I went and got my tea and it was lovely. And I did that 2 times this week. So I was very proud of myself. And then I also said if I did it both times this week, I could buy a book. So I gave myself an extra little prize. So there you go. So I've seen some people who kind of divide up their to-dos and then they give themselves some prizes. If I do this, then I get this. Maybe you have a self-care list. Maybe you want to, I have the little things to start doing in September, like a weekly no plans day or make a fall bucket list. Maybe there are things you want to do for yourself and your home and your work. The Pomodoro technique, for when we were talking about that idea of focusing on one task, this is a great technique if you haven't tried it. You just pick whatever task you want to work on. And then you set a timer for 25 minutes. You can set a timer on your phone or whatever. And then you make yourself work on only that thing for 25 minutes. And then when that's done, timer goes off, you can set a timer for a 5-minute break. You do that every 4 times. So you do 4 Pomodoros, and then you can take a longer 15 or 30-minute break. And Jennifer's popping some links there in the chat for you about that. I have loved getting those things, using that to get those things done on the dread list, right? And then I saw Radhika is talking about doing a dread bingo. So that's a great idea, right? Gamify it. Try to make it a little bit more fun for those things that we have to get done. And then maybe you want to do the to-do section. You're just going to draw a pretty little picture. Somebody did a little life. It's a roller coaster right now, but you've got that. So they drew the fun little roller coaster. Maybe you just want to pop some stickers in there. Maybe you have a work list and a personal list. Maybe you want to divide it up into things that you have to do and things you want to do. Maybe instead of to do, it's to be. Things you want to be, or weekly wins. I love that. Instead of weekly to-dos, they made it weekly wins. So things that they did that were a win. Or maybe it's a list of things not to do. Don't doubt yourself. Don't embrace negative self-talk. Those kinds of things that can be really helpful as well. You can see other things that people have done here. I've got the little kitty cat, and then they divided it into the days of the week for the different things. That's super fun. The person below that has a very lovely, very detailed list of different things that they need, to do's and to don'ts and things for their office, and a little AM grounding and a little affirmations. So this beautiful little piece. I put the put your phone down, and right, we always talk about wanting to do different things instead of staring at our phone. So here's some ideas of little things you could do when you start to pick up that phone. Just be a basic list. And then I really liked this idea of how our brain is a supercomputer and we need to update its software, right? How often do you turn on the computer and you need to update the software? Our brain's the same way. So we're going to update the software with books, podcasts, and experiences. And then we're going to protect its battery with 8 hours of sleep, connect with nature, and maybe a good technology detox. So those are some fun ways to kind of think about that. Or maybe you can repurpose, right? You can have a to-do list. You can have the to-be list. Maybe you have some self-care ideas for when you have no time, right? There's a 60-second or a 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute, or 10-minute idea, things that you can do. A little ta-da bingo, right? I did these things and ta-da. It's a little fun there. And then I'm also going to talk about the habits and activities because sometimes those go hand in hand. So I've got some habits that can help boost your self-confidence, things like setting those small goals, dressing to impress, embracing your unique qualities. And then here's some examples of things that folks have done. You can see you could have just one thing on there. One person put hydrate, and that's all they have on there, and that's what they're going to focus on. I like the just say no piece, deleting emails, decluttering, days without sugar, throwing away expired food. That's important. No social media. And they've got the goal there, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. The one on the bottom, you can see they circled the days when they want to do the thing. So that's kind of a good idea. Daily ways to boost your knowledge. Those are always helpful. Reading for 10 minutes, brain dumping your worries, decluttering for 5 minutes, don't check your phone after waking, learning one new thing. Person in the middle has dishes, laundry, and a daily ritual. So I'll let you work on those to-dos and those habits and activities. We'll play just a little bit of music and then we'll check back in and keep moving on. All right, lots of good ideas for our to-dos and our habits and activities. I know some of us, when we are talking about trying to stay off the phone, especially at night, to try to decrease the scrolling and the watching TikTok videos or doing those kinds of things. One of the things you can do is set it to a nighttime mode, and then at a certain time, it will go grayscale, which I've got to tell you is so unattractive, right? It is not appealing. It does not do the dopamine hits that the full color beauty of videos and those kinds of things do. So if you set it maybe at 9 o'clock, it goes to grayscale, and then you can also set there's also things a lot of times you can do with your phone to set it to limit the amount of time you can spend on certain apps, and then it will just shut it down completely. Like it won't let you open that app anymore. Obviously, you can go in and change settings and those kinds of things. But yeah, Christina's saying I'm a 9 p.m. grayscale girly. It's so helpful. It really is. It's so funny because it's like when it changes to grayscale, your brain's like, ugh, like I don't know, there's nothing good on there. I don't need to look at that. And then other folks are saying they just took social media apps off their phone. Um, to really kind of cut it down. And yeah, oh gosh, I just get so bad with the phone and the screen time. I'm just like, I just need to put it, sometimes you literally have to put it in another place. Yeah, Jennifer's saying I had to delete games, right? It just, unfortunately, the dopamine that it gives your brain tends to make you overwrite it. So you have to replace it with something else. So maybe something else you could do with your hands. Maybe instead of grabbing the phone or doing, you could do some painting or do some knitting or play with your kitty or your puppy or something like that, to kind of help move that forward. And then I did pop in some of the fun little info, the graphics that Katie always finds from Instagram, because they're always so fun little bucket lists and fall ideas and those kinds of things. So hopefully you have some ideas for what to pop into those areas. So we are going to switch over to page 33, which we kind of is the B side, as Katie lovingly calls it, right? It's the, sometimes we use this page a lot, sometimes we don't use it much at all. It just really kind of depends on what our week has in store for us. So I did find this cute little idea of a possible way to put something in your meal planner, or this actually would work nicely in the to-do section as well. So it's the mustard, ketchup, and mayo. So these are the things I must do: my mustard, my ketchup, things I need to catch up on, and then the mayo are things I may do. And I like that idea of kind of like, here's the things that I really have to do, I must do, and here's some things that I might do or might be fun. Or you could even do, if I do 3 must do things, I can do 1 may do thing, to kind of help you kind of move over. Yeah, Nicole says one of her colleagues uses this for classwork day. I've also seen somebody told me that they have a pickles category where you can pick one thing from a list of something to do. So maybe that's good for those tasks that you don't want to do, and you can put the list and you can pick one of those things. I thought that was kind of a fun way to, again, we got to make life fun. We got to have some fun things going on here in our planner. So the meal plan is a big piece of space that we oftentimes will use for different ways to, yes, we can plan our meals, yes, we can track our meals, but we could also use it to make a cleaning plan or a gratitude log, mindfulness activity planner, maybe a packing list. Anytime I go on a trip, I use this for a packing list, and I plan out each day what I want to wear, and if I need something specific for that day, definitely keeps me from overpacking. It's super helpful. So you can see some other fun ways to do that. So or a rest plan or a daily affirmation or things that you want to make happen. Symptoms trackers are helpful. A daily debrief, a place to write daily scriptures. This is another one from Silk and Saunders Instagram that's a slow down menu. I was telling Jennifer when we were talking before the call, how I feel fall is kind of that, like, okay, let's slow down, let's get ready for winter. I feel like summer is just this high energy, do all the things. And then it's like, okay, now we want to kind of slow down. So things to brighten our space, maybe open a window or tidy a room, have a little solo dance party. Maybe want to take care of our body. So we want to go on a nature walk or try a new workout or savor a meal, do something fun. Maybe it's catch up with a loved one, revisit a childhood hobby, scrapbook in your journal, or work on your journal. I like that idea of a little menu. And you could even make your own little menu, your own little slow down menu of things you want to start doing for the month of September. So again, other fun things that people have done here: journal prompts, chore list, appointments, a mood tracker with some songs. I love the song of the day. That's always a fun one to work on. The water drops, they color coded their water drops. So they're tracking if it's water, if it's tea, if it's coffee, those kinds of things. I really have got to stop drinking caffeine after noon. I keep telling myself that. And then I gave myself the promise of the iced tea after the workout, which was at 5 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, I got to think of a different plan. So many things, all the things. And I'm going to go over all these little sections here on page 33. Yeah, Nicole, I would do decaf, but I don't think McDonald's has decaf tea. So I would have to like make my own tea and, I don't know, all the excuses, all the things. So our mind body health plan, I found a fun little cozy fall activities to look forward to. Other things you can see that people have used this section for. Again, maybe it's a little bingo board. Maybe it's keeping track of something you did well this week and some ways you loved others. Maybe it's just, I like enjoy a hot drink, have a vegan day, extra shower time, exercise, a mani-pedi, do it yourself, write a letter, read a great book. I need to start writing some more letters again, or sending some fun postcards, that kind of thing. Yeah, Paige, maybe Jim points, get $1 toward a book. That's a good idea. You all are so helpful. We're also helpful with our ideas of how we can get ourselves to do things we need to do, right? And then our shopping list are fun things we want to shop. Fall is my favorite time to shop. I have to try to stop myself from shopping because of all the Halloween and the fall decor that is out. I still haven't had my pumpkin spice latte yet. I have that's like a savory, like something I have to save for doing something. Going and buying the pumpkins, getting the fuzzy boots there. Maybe you want to make sure you're filling your own cup, so you're adding those kinds of things. Maybe it's a nice little quote, a little reminder of no unnecessary spending, a self-care bingo. And then that I am loving is just something that you're loving this month, not this month, this week. It could be this month, but something that's really fun, something making you smile, books and tea, daily rituals, Silk and Sonder journaling, creativity, kitten cuddles, any of those kinds of things. So those are just kind of fun things that you can fill in for this little box. So I'll play a little bit of music, cycle through these. Let us know if you're repurposing or how you're using any of these sections. Or you know what? Sometimes people, they just don't use this section at all and they just put stickers in it. And you can do that, right? Because our stickers need to be used. They need to fulfill their sticker destiny. So I'll let you work on that and then we'll check back in and wrap things up. Oh, right. Thank you for sharing in the chat how you're using some of these different sections. Just really kind of think about making it fun, right? Because that's the trick is we're trying to track some things, we're trying to plan some things, but we also want to have fun with it. So don't let yourself get kind of bogged down on like, oh, I didn't do this right, or oh, this doesn't look right. The nice thing about the weekly is there'll always be another week to experiment. So I always kind of like to use my weekly pages to experiment with maybe a new habit that I want to try on, or maybe something, some new thing that I want to track to see if tracking that is helpful, which is how I know that if I drink caffeine afternoon, it disrupts my sleep. Unfortunately, right, it's just one of those things. I used to be able to drink coffee all day and sleep all night, and now I can't do that anymore. So anyway, I just have to, it's all trade-offs. It's all about choices. So thank you all so much for joining us. This hour is always so fast. It's the fastest hour, much faster than a treadmill hour at the gym. And feel free to share your weekly planner pages with us in Sonder Club. We love to see the pictures. You can see all of these came from you, right, from Sonder Club, Sonder Fam, the different things, the ways that people have used these different sections. So if you feel comfortable sharing, we love to share, and you might see them in a social coming up. Jennifer's popping in some links in the chat. We have over 1,000 social recordings there on the YouTube link for you to kind of pick from. We have a exclusive event coming up on Thursday, the 18th, which is a DISC personality type. There's an expert that's going to lead that along with Meha, talking about your DISC personality type. There's a link that you can use to take the quiz. There shouldn't be a fee to take the quiz. There is a small fee to attend the exclusive social. And if you're not able to make it, but you signed up and paid, they will send you the link. They'll send everybody who signed up, whether or not you were there, the link so that you can watch it later. So that will be available. So that will be a fun one as well. So thank you all again so much for joining, for folks, all the contributions you have in the chat, all the different ideas for everyone, different kinds of things that you can do with your week. I will be helping out Katie tomorrow evening. If you're here at that social, then we've got the one on Monday. Lots of fun things coming up. So hopefully we will see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.